Hello, I'm Alistair Charlton, technology reporter for the International Business Times UK, and this is Inside Tech City. Over the next 6 weeks, I'm going to be speaking with some of the biggest startups to come out of this part of London to find out what it takes to create a successful technology company. I'm going to be speaking with Google Campus, MindCandy, Halo, and others to learn more about startups, how they work, and how being located here has been beneficial to them. But first, I'm going to see Huddle and speak with their co-founder and CEO, Alastair Mitchell. Founded in London in 2007, Huddle now has offices in New York, Washington, and San Francisco, as well as here in Tech City, overlooking Old Street Roundabout. Huddle's product is an online collaboration tool where employees can share files and projects with each other quickly and securely. The company employs 200 staff, has raised $40 million in equity funding, and works with more than 100,000 organisations globally, including much of the British government. A lot has been made of Tech City, but I wanted to find out if high growth we're seeing now is different from what we saw in the dot-com bubble a decade earlier.
It's massively different. So I lived through that. So I actually started 2 businesses in the middle of the last dot-com bubble, and both of them crashed and burned. Or shall we call them learning experiences, as the Americans would say. The biggest thing, and I was talking to an investment banker this morning who lived through it as well. To give you an example from the last bubble, he raised money, this guy I was talking to, for 2 businesses. One of them had $400,000 in revenue annually, and it was trying to sell itself for $1 billion. And it got an offer for $1 billion, and it turned it down because it was looking for $2 billion. So that's what happened. That's how much of a bubble that was. $400,000 of revenue trying to sell itself for $2 billion. Now, you've got businesses that are being bought and floated for over $1 billion, but they've got hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue and are growing 100% a year. That is an entirely different, on sustainable, proven revenue that enterprises are adopting this technology in a big way. So that is an entirely different world to what it was.
Do you feel that this would have happened perhaps naturally anyway without the government being involved and calling it Tech City? Or do you feel that that has made a significant difference?
I think there's no silver bullet, but I think it's helped. So, as I said, a bit of PR, a lot of stuff on the enterprise investment scheme and the tax breaks and the entrepreneur tax relief that you get. All of this has helped. Then you've got some companies who are starting to make it happen and build a community around themselves. We get on really well. We spend a lot of time socializing. We're really trying to do it together. Then you've got people who have made money or built businesses in the previous era, and now they're reinvesting. They're coming back as advisors and mentors and investors in new ideas. All of this is happening together. And technology globally doing well. Put all that together and you've got a really thriving community. So I think it hasn't been the one thing that's made it, but I think it's helping, like everything, and all the combination together is doing well.
I wanted to find out how London compares with other technology startup clusters in the US and elsewhere in Europe, and what we could learn from them.
What London doesn't have that some of the communities in the US have, London is a bit like New York, very similar. Media, lots of B2C startups, a little bit of B2B. What it doesn't have compared to Silicon Valley and San Francisco, where we are, is the money and the large network of the companies that have gone through the next stage. So you don't have Google, the HQ, Cisco HQ, HP HQ on your doorstep, buying companies, investigating them and talking to them, partnering with them. So I think that's where the thing we're lacking. So that's about having lots of big technology companies coming through, and that's what Huddle wants to be. We want to be that next big company. I think what's interesting about some of the other European hubs, they're all great, but they're slightly more focused around 1 or 2 things. So Berlin is becoming really well known for some of the consumer technology around music and media. It's got a very thriving art scene, so SoundCloud coming out of there. In Helsinki, you've got all the stuff happening with Rovio and Angry Birds. There's now a load of game studios spinning up. So they're a bit more centered around 1 or 2 companies. I think what's great about London is it's got the full spread. One of the biggest issues with Tech City right now is lack of space. So if you get to a certain size, whether you're ourselves or a couple of other tech companies, you mentioned a few there, we are all running out of space. So actually, the unfortunate thing is a lot of us are actually moving slightly outside what the kind of traditional boundary for Tech City is.
Has Tech City been a success so far, or should the government have made some changes to how it went about rebranding this area of East London? I wanted to find out from Alistair that if he could work with the government, what would he have done differently?
Honestly, I think that we've had to learn, right? I think it's been overall a bit of a positive thing for everyone. I think people still, internationally, this is more known as Silicon Roundabout than it is as Tech City. So there's still a bit of a branding issue. I think really what matters is that London is known as a great technology hub. That's actually what it's called is irrelevant, right? What it needs to be known is that there are some amazing technology companies coming out of London. It's not just small businesses, but there are some really big businesses being built, and that the government is facilitating the growth of really big investment rounds. My biggest message is always to the UK government, which is buy British. So just let's put it in bold numbers. The UK government, public sector, represents about 46–47% of UK GDP. So almost half of all the money spent in the UK is spent within the public sector ecosystem. Right, so the quickest way to drive big businesses is for the UK government to buy British. Now, I would say that, being a British company, wouldn't I? But that would be more effective than any investment theme, any tax break. Rather than buying any other technology, let's look at stimulating some of the growth here, and that will permeate through the whole ecosystem and drive these very big companies.